So this is the linear programming problem that we had a quiz on last Friday in class. Scenario that we are talking about is a chef's making some cupcakes for a food show. It takes 12 minutes to make a chocolate cupcake, 6 minutes to make a lemon cupcake. The chef will make a profit of $3 for a chocolate cupcake and $4 for a lemon cupcake. He has no more than 60 minutes to make the cupcakes and wants at least 2 lemon cupcakes to sell. How many of each flavor cupcake should he make to make the most profit? Okay, first thing you got to do. What are we asking? The question in this problem is how many of each flavor cupcake should he make to make the most profit? Okay, so what that means is that you have to define your variables. We've got two kinds of cupcakes, we've got two variables. We're going to let x equal chocolate, and we're going to let y equal lemon. Those are our variables. Those can change. The number can change. We could have 3 chocolate, 7 lemon, whatever. So those numbers could change at any time. Those are our variables. The other thing that we need to look at is the objective function. We have to define the objective function. Our objective in this problem is to make the most profit. So we're going to say our objective profit. And what you do is you look through the problem and see where does it discuss profit. In this case, the chef will make a profit of $3 for chocolate and $4 for lemon. We said x was chocolate, so 3x plus 4y is going to equal our profit. Okay, so we have our variables defined. We have our objective defined. The last thing that we need to define are our constraints. And now these are the limiting factors in the equation. So let's see what we've got here. Alright, chef making cupcakes. 12 minutes to make a chocolate cupcake. Well, that's a limiting factor. So, let's make that green. Constraints. So 12 minutes for a chocolate cupcake. So we use 12x because x represents chocolate. And then we say 6 minutes for a lemon. Okay, so that's plus 6y. Okay, great. What else in this problem discusses minutes? And that's right here. No more than 60 minutes, which means 12x plus y, or 12x plus 6y, has got to be less than or equal to 60 because it says that he has no more than 60 minutes to make it. So that means he has less than 60 minutes or 60 minutes to make it, but he can't go over 60 minutes. That's what this guy right here says. Next thing we want to look at, anything else that's going to confine or constrict this problem, or constrain this problem, I should say. He wants at least 2 lemon cupcakes to sell. Okay, so we say that y is lemon, so y has to be greater than or equal to 2, because it can't be less than 2, because 2 is the minimum that he can have. Okay, well that takes care of the lemon cupcake. What about chocolate? Okay, the problem doesn't really say anything about how many chocolate cupcakes, so that's easy enough. That means that x has to be greater than or equal to 0. Alright, that's all done. And if I just said y is less than or equal to 2, I meant y is greater than or equal to 2, so hopefully I didn't say that. Okay, so our constraints, 12x plus 6y, less than or equal to 60, y is greater than 2, x is greater than 0. Alright, next step is to graph these constraints. But before we graph them, we want this guy right here, we need to rewrite him into slope-intercept form. So we want him to be written in the form y equals mx plus b. So to do that, we're going to rewrite it in our form that's already in. 12x plus 6, y is less than or equal to 60. We're going to subtract 12x from both sides. This guy right here is just 0. So we have plus 6y is less than or equal to, and this is stating that we're said negative 12x plus 60. So now we've got this written in slope-intercept form almost. We don't care about 6y. We want to know what y is. So we divide everything through by 6. And we have y is less than or equal to negative 2x plus 10. Now I got negative 2 because negative 12 divided by 6 is negative 2. And I got the 10 because 60 divided by 6 is 10. Okay, so now I have my constraints. I have this guy, and this guy. Now my next step is going to be to graph these. So let me scroll down a little bit here, or extend the page. Okay. Alright, so that's done. So now what we need to do is graph them. So the first one I'm going to do is this guy, which I'll underline him in blue. Y greater than or equal to 2. Okay, how do you do that? You get your y-axis right here. So you're going to go to 2 on the y-axis, and then you're going to draw a horizontal line. And the reason this is the case is, what's this coordinate? 0, 2, right? Let's look at this one. That is actually 14, 2. And if you go down here, like this guy right here, this is negative 16, 2. So all my y coordinates are 2. And then it says y is greater than 2, so that means I'm going to shade everything above this line. And I'm just drawing these little arrows here to keep it relatively neat. Alright, so the next one I'm going to do is x is greater than or equal to 0. And what we do is we go on our x-axis at 0, put a mark, and now we're going to draw a vertical line. And since x is greater than 0, we're shading in this direction. And the last one to graph is this guy right here. This number 10, that's my y-intercept. That's where it crosses the y-axis. So I put a dot here at 10. My slope is negative 2, which means I'm going to go down 2 and over 1, down 2, over 1, down 2, over 1. So I'm going to connect these dots here. And that's less than, so I'm shading everything below here. So really what's the area in my graph that everything is true is right in here. And the reason I'm shading that is that any number that's in that graph is where I can make a profit. However, I'm looking at what I need for my maximum amount of profit. So what I need to look at are my vertices here. We've already said that this guy right here is 0, 2. This one is 4, 2. And this guy right here is 0, 10. Okay, those vertices there, that's what we plug in to the profit function. So let me grab the profit function if it will let me. Great. Oops. Get up on top. Bring it to the front. Okay. So here's my profit function. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in each one of these XY coordinates for X and Y here. Remember, 0 was chocolate. Well, let me put it this way. X was chocolate, Y was lemon. So for this one, I'm going to say 3 times 0 plus 4 times 10, and that's going to be my profit. And that's going to give me 0 plus 40 equals profit. So this guy right here is going to give me a profit of $40. Alright, so now I'm going to plug in 4, 2, where I had an X. 3 times 4 is 12, and 4 times 2 is 8. So that profit is 20. So this guy right here gives me a profit of $20. And then the last one to check is 0, 2. So put a 0 and a 2 in. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 4 times 2, that's 8. So 8 equals my profit, and that's $8. So this guy gives me a profit of $8. So which one gives you the most profit? Right here. So what we need to write is that 0 chocolate and 10 lemon will give the most profit. IT. Okay, so there's your answer. 0 chocolate and 10 lemon will give you the most profit, and that's under the circumstances of that problem. All right, hope that helps.